Hello and welcome. This is Aaron to you too, and you are watching the 100 most prolific NES speedrunners list, the April 24 update. Again, this is an attempt to rank the top speedrunners of the officially licensed US PAL release games for the NES. Now, there's a very major change with this version, which I'm going to go over quickly. Every game now has a modifier based off of the game's length and type. This modifier is applied both to the number of runners and to the curve. You may recall that the game value is determined by the lesser of two values, either through the curve, which is scaled off of position compared to other games, the number of runners of the game, or it's determined by taking the number of runners of the game and multiplying it by 20. The curve now uses the modified numbers of runners, so instead of a direct ratio to the number of runners, it now uses a modified version based off of the modifier, which we'll get to in a moment. The other part now, instead of times 20, it is now times 10, and it uses 10 times the number of runners times the length type modifier, which goes from 1 to 2. How does this work? The length modifier, basically the longest 10% of runs and the shortest 10% of runs get something applied to them. We went over the change to the long runs before. Short runs, however, are going to receive a 1.5 modifier. Medium and long receive 2. The type modifier, this is a description of the main category of each game. It is not a description of the difficulty of the world record or any sort of competition. It is simply a modifier describing anybody's ability to complete a run. So you have full and full loop games. Full is to win the game. A full loop is for main categories that don't have true endings, but the loop is the most logical, full playthrough of the game without having to repeat, in infinitum. Partial goals means the main category doesn't involve beating the game or has a goal that's artificially shortened. There's also what I call single game sports goals. These are ones that are applied to sports games where you can't play more than one game, because it doesn't make sense to give them full credit when a lot of sports games are given partial, because the standard for most main categories in speedruns is to have a shorter main category for sports games. And then the biggest one down here is the minor category. This is when the category is a lose the game category. It involves playing against no computer, so no opposition, has no reasonable way to fail, and or is an exceedingly short and not representative of the game as a whole. And these are the modifiers in a little picture here to show you. So full and full loop runs receive a times 2 modifier. Partial and the sports specific ones are times 1.5. And minor runs receive just the times 1. Again, there's no chance that long and minor can overlap, and by virtue of the way that they work. And long runs actually receive a bonus to their game value after everything else is done. So otherwise they act the same as medium length runs. Just as a special note here, like short and partial still is just times 1.5. It gets whatever the lowest is. It doesn't use both and somehow be lower. So as a rule, when it comes to length, I will modify the short and long qualifiers shortly after the release. So it'll be of that month for the next month. So I'll be using finalized times for the games as of the previous update to update them for the next. So if you happen to get a world record in a long game that pushes it out of the top tier, and it's no longer one of the 10% longest games, that won't actually apply until after the next month. Otherwise, I would have to delay the release. But now, onto the list. Much quicker version of this. We have Beat 0 and 100th. Hostel at 99. NES Atlas at 98. Harbash 97. The 6th is Sathresh. 95th, Andrew G. I think I wrote his points down wrong. I think it's supposed to be 6570. Oh well. Scytown in 94th. Joka 93. 92nd is Enemy. 91st is Bad Breaks. I did remember something. I want to go over it really quick. One thing that changed because of this update is the points have been restructured. So you will see some people who went down quite a bit. Some people who really it was more down than up. Depending on which games you played that were affected by these things, it pushed some of them down the list. So other games kind of flittered up, but not in the same ratio. So overall, I would say the average person's points went up, but so many of the top players' points went down that's what you're going to notice. You won't notice the people who went up by 20 or 30 points. You'll notice the people who went down by thousands. I meant to mention that earlier and I forgot. Anyway, 90th place is Bent Glass Tube. 89th, Negative 4K. 88, June's 88. That's funny. I didn't notice that before. 87th, Hurricane Mixer. 86th, Holly Go Rock. And he's somebody who actually got hit pretty hard by the change. 85th, Nick B Go Hard. 84th, Vrylis. Welcome to the list, Vrylis. 83rd, Scotty. 82nd, Orb 7. Orb's also somebody who got hit pretty hard by the change. A lot of sports games. 81st, the Retro Challenger. Now, 80th, Slackinator. 79th, Timmy Shotgun. 78th, Dorito Breath. 77, Darkwing Duck SDA. Seems like every change I make, he ends up going up just a little bit. 76th, Beer Full of Belly. 75th, Unos. 74th, Angry Lanks. 73rd, Whitman Price. 72nd, Crit Rocket. And notice how close some of these are. That's 1 point, 7 points, 7 points, 13. It's one of the reasons why I changed this, so you can see how close they are. 71st, Old School McFly. Now, to the next page. 70th, Carter 44. 69th, Dracula. 68, Feasel. 67, Bokanon Lives. 66, Ray Dude. Welcome to the list, Ray Dude. And I forgot to welcome Dorito Breath, because he should have been on the list last time. But I missed one of his games. And he ended up just outside. But welcome to him as well. Well, look at Ray Dude. Wasn't in the top 100 last time. 65th, Laxus. 64th, PGH Guitar Guy. 63rd, Neural 89. 62nd, Dugong. 61st, Josh Keys. '60th, Luca Jim. 59, Rot Dog. 58, Becco. 57, X-Ray 662. 56, Scotty J47. 55, Fire Broth. 54, Jangle Storm. 53rd, Rantron Bomb. 52nd, Sasha Gaming. There's our 10,000 mark. 51st, Vidtendo. So this next page, look at the point numbers. I'm just going to say that in advance. 50th, Creasy. 49th, Zenkaroshi. 48th, Substyly. 47th, me, Aaron to you too. 46th, KLM 1187. 45th, Rayquaza 911. 44th, Kananaphone. 43rd, Vesper Vidya. 42nd, Tom Cabs. And I had to go into the decimals here because it was very close. 41st, Ryan Video Gamer. So I made a point about this in the Discord that there was a log jam, and this is very very tight. Oh. All right. 40th, Apollo. 39th, DNK Cafe. 38th, Gyarados. 21. 37, Professor Retro. 36, I Love Mario. 35th, Joseph H. Tobin Jr. I looked a little ahead on the letters there. 34th, How Do You Play? He was actually in that logjam until I think one of his runs got approved right on the last minute. 33rd, Cool Kid. 32nd, Zoda Nor. 31st, Bald Nate. And we move on to the top 30. 30th, Joe Polito. Rounding out the top 30. 29th, Magic K. 28th, Old School Rich. 27th, Gray Skull 83. 26th, 8 Bits of Joy. 25th, Super Pitfro. Yeah, it is Joe Aprilito. April. The actual event now, Vesper. 24th, Angel Undead. 23rd is Sin. 22nd, Yogi the Monk. And 21st, Darth Terrail. 20th, Hyrexen. 19th, JSR. 18th, Endy Sui. 17th, Ryu Hayabusa 89. 16th, Chambers N. 15th, Stans. 14th, Skateman 222. 13th, JKL. JKL is somebody who got hit pretty hard by the change. 12th, Kazakhs. 11th, Lack Attack fell out of the top 10. So we have the top 10 with 10th place, Overswarm. 9th place, Spyreal. 8th place, White Hat 94. 7th, Pikachu. There's something wrong with their points too. I assure you that that's correct. I got tired typing these out. 6th, Zarkonis went up a position. He was also somebody who got hit really hard by the point change. So 5th place, Ness Cardinality. He actually got hit kind of hard too. That's probably right, Slimu. 4th place, Smart Alec. 3rd place, Arcus. So Arcus passed Smart Alec in this last update. Not just because of the change, which did hurt Smart Alec a little bit more, but Arcus has been putting in some runs. There's a lot of Big 20, post-Big 20 runs going up. 2nd place is, again, Cheese Chardcore, and that means 1st place is Toad. Again, there was a huge change. It really negatively impacted people who had run a lot of short games. That included, again, JKL, Chardcore, and Zarkonis, I think, got the brunt of that. Although some other people, including myself, lost quite a few points. So, some more stats. Even more stats. The top point average per game, I decided to go with a minimum of 10 this time, because I wanted to show less people. Cool Kid rocking the top score up here. Hyrexen, pretty high stands. Tom Cabs has done pretty well. You see, ND X-Ray. A lot of these names are very well known amongst, NES speedrunners. Slackinator, Zoda, Dorito Breath has popped up. Tarbash, Creasy. There's a few people like JC and Becco who got knocked out because of the minimum of 10. Top games for new runners. Had 18 new runners in Tetris 2, 14 for Young Indiana Jones. Super Mario Brothers, this is almost every month, so 6 for Home Alone. 6 for Joust is kind of surprising. 5 for Millipede. Again, big 20 games, a lot of these. Battletoads. WWF WrestleMania is the odd one on this list. I was part of the Ms. Pac-Man craze there briefly, but WWF WrestleMania had nobody that I'm aware of who's pushing prolifics pop up, so it kind of just did its own thing. World record numbers of relevant categories. We have NES Cardinality with 46, Charcore 33. I've popped up here with 17. I think Ryu Hayabusa had that third place for a while. I snuck through. White Hat fell a little bit. One of those was a category change. I know one of them was Cowboy Kid. It's a big 20 games people have been playing. So you see, like, tied for 10 runs. We got Tom Cabs has popped up, tied for 9 now. And you can look at the list. The rest of the list, I'm not going to read every name. So who was the most prolific NES speedrunner in March? I only included the top 15 because I did not factor in the negatives. So this is pure result. So some people, like, I believe Zarkonis had a 4,000 point debt, and you will see him on this list, which means he gained more than that. But instead of accounting for the differences, I decided that was probably a debt that needed to be paid at some point. So 15th was Charlie9631. Gained a world record. I forget what the game is already, but I think it was one of Dugong's remaining world records. 14th, Angel Undead, 506 points. 3 new games, all big 20 stuff. 13th, JC. This is Zelda 2. That is what that is. He's moved up really high in the ranks in Zelda 2. 12th was Ahmad. This is Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. He popped that one in and has the world record. Him and Precy have bounced back and forth, I think, a little bit, but I think Ahmad had it last I looked. And 11th is Zarkonis. 22 new games, 2 new world records, but only 907 points because of, again, about a 4,000 point loss due to the change. So really a great month, just you're not seeing it here. 10th place, 8 Bits of Joy, 950 points. 9th place, Vesper Vidya, 5 games, 1,000 points. 8th place, Professor Retro, 7 games, 1 new world record. I believe that's Tecmo Baseball, and 1,200 points. 7th place, Grayskull, 6 games, 1,200 points. A lot of big 20 stuff. 6th, Dorito Breath, 2 games, 1,400 points. I remember one of those is Galaga, where he is in 2nd place. I forget what the other is, but he's somebody who goes really hard on the games that he does. 5th is Heart Prestige, 9 games, 1 world record. I think that's Home Alone. 1,700 points. Somebody who's inching up a little bit, we might not be aware of. 4th place, Arcus, 5 games, 1,700 points. 3rd place, Ray Dude, 7 games, 1 world record. I believe that's Demon Sword. 2,200 points. 2nd, Tom Cabs, 4 games, 3 world records, 2,400 points, which means our top person on the list is Rylis. 22 games, 2,730 points. Congratulations to the most prolific runner of the month, Rylis. Thank you very much for your I ran out of music. Contributions in the month. You're the employee of the month. Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Here we go. So thank you for watching the video. Once again, full spreadsheet along with the second spreadsheet showing month-to-month changes will be posted in the YouTube video. The next major move or change in this is to pursue automation. I think you were actually negative over Swarm. It's just everybody else was more negative than you. So any future change basically requires I gotta do the automation right now because the spreadsheet is completely unwieldy and it's too big. So, oh, I missed that. I'm sorry, Violas. So yeah, if you like this video, please like and comment. Subscribe if you want to be notified when future videos uploaded. Join the Prolifics Discord. I'll put a link. It'll last for a week because I don't know how to make them last longer than a week. Or you know, catch me on Twitch TV/Aaron2U2 where I am streaming this right now. Thank you very much.